Good morning. You're on portrait setting. I forget I have this option on my phone. I've been up since 6. I've already been out the door. I've already been in contact with my job. I ran over to Sally. I went and picked eggplants off of my plant. I'm so excited. I'm going to make sauce later on, and I needed eggplant. I had 2 ready to go. Can you see that beautiful color? Look how glossy and shiny it is. I had to check with Google to make sure they were ready to pick. And you're never supposed to like twist them off the vine. You're supposed to clip them and give a clean cut so that way it produces more eggplants on the plant. La 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 la. How are you this morning though? How was the weekend? My front yard looks beautiful. Looks beautiful. I spent all day outside yesterday weed eating into my plants. The kid and he dug the hole and I put the plant in. We put in elephant ears. I want to see how that. My banana trees didn't come back this year, which I'm a little sad about. Later on I'll take video of the backyard because I'm getting ready to go out there before it gets too hot today. I think it's supposed to be in the 90s this week. A little disheveled, but that's okay. You know, the hair is growing out, and you'll hear me talk about some very superficial things. You can't really tell in this light, but it's way too yellow, way too yellow. So I ran over to Sally this morning, and I picked up, can you see that? Maybe not because you're on portrait mode. Lost my train of thought. But it's a purple toning mask. I don't think you can see that. Purple toning mask. So we're going to try that because the ends are so fried and it's so frizzy. We're gonna just see if this is going to work. And they say you're only supposed to leave it on your hair no longer than 4 minutes because it is purple and your hair could turn purple. But the violet part tones out the yellow, takes out the yellow part of your hair. So we'll see. I wanted it to be like a nice soft beigey blonde, but I don't want to put any more color on it since it's been breaking off. Also, because it's so dull and lifeless, I got some Bond Bar Bonding Pre-Wash Shine Treatment for all hair. There, can you see that? So we'll see. We'll see how this goes the next time I go to wash my hair. Everybody in the neighborhood is having their trees all trimmed. Poor gal, catty corner, straight across from me, the big walnut tree or oak tree, whatever it is, it completely came down with the last storm. Fell onto her fence. Thank God nobody was parked over there. So the city, county, whoever's in charge of the big trees, they have been over there cutting trees. The good neighbor 2 doors down, he had storm damage. I've got 2 trees myself in the backyard that I don't know how I'm going to get them all trimmed up. The branches keep breaking and I keep pulling them down and cutting what I can, but the trees need to be lopped off. When I was out running around this morning, this is where I'm going with all of this. Getting up, getting out the door, like I said, I'm going to go work in the backyard before it gets way too hot. I think it's about 11:15-ish. What do I have to look forward to when I retire? What do you have to look forward to when you retire? Went to McDonald's this morning waiting for Sally to open. Got a nice coffee. Now, of course, I drank the original and added more coffee to this. Old people, said with love. Birthday's this Friday. I'll be 65. Said with love. Old people, who taught you to drive? I had 2 old people cut me off. And when I say old, in their 80s, maybe they're in their 90s, I don't know. Again, I say with great love and great respect. I'm going to be that age at some point. Remember, my goal is to live to be 116. Two old people cut me off trying to go through the drive-thru in McDonald's. Old people, all at Deerberg's this morning, trying to get their groceries, or trying to do whatever. Parking lots filled with them. Is this what old people do when they retire? They get up in the morning, they get themselves together, they go grab their little breakfast at whatever spot, they go to the grocery store, so what? They can rush home to what? Turn the TV on? To go play in the garden? I don't know. I'm like, what do I have to look forward to when I really, really do retire? I work this week, my 3 days. I'm off next week. I'm already trying to plan an itinerary. I want to go to Grant's Farm. I want to go to the art museum. I want to go take a tour at Anheuser-Busch. You know, I've done those things a million times. What else do I want to do? I want to go to the Asian store in Baldwin. Don't know why, but I want to do that. I'm going to finish a couple paintings. I want to do that. Trying to plan out within money. Going to go with my one friend, grade school friend, Mary. She's going to come pick me up, and we're going to go like tooling around all over. Her and I share the same birthday. We're going to do that next Tuesday. I don't know. When you were off, do you just do nothing? Do you just lay on the couch and not take advantage of the time you have off? When I was leaving the house this morning, there is more construction and more road work. I'm in Afton, St. Louis County. You go down Higgy, you know, and there are trucks everywhere doing concrete, doing underground cables, doing whatever infrastructure is needed. So, I'm seeing these are the jobs that are plentiful, which is good for them. I digress. I'm going down Higgy. There's like this church thing where they say prayers and they do rosaries and so on and so forth. There's an RV sitting on that parking lot. It's a cute little RV. You drive it, you tote your car with it. I got angry looking at that, because that should be my life. That should have been the life that my person and I'm going to try not to be talking about my person too much any longer, because it gets on my last nerves at this point. But the life that you had planned, that whatever reason it uprooted, upheaval, got you on a whole other path. But I saw this RV this morning and I got angry. As I am reaching retirement age, when I know I cannot retire, and I know that there is so much more money left on the table when you are doing the entrepreneurial stuff. And I think about all the things that I had planned that he and I could do to make money. So when I saw this cute little RV this morning, I got angry. What is it that you're looking at? What is it that you see that is making you angry? And what was the monkey wrench that was thrown into your plan? I want to know. This past week, I have been angry on and off for a bunch of different reasons. The nonsense that's going on at work, looking at my paycheck where it is not where it needs to be, and that just comes from lack of management and whomever else, and I tell them that all the time. So I'm not saying anything I'm not supposed to. I get on the road and I'm driving, and there is absolutely, people do not follow the law. They do not know the rules of the road. People, what is it? What is it in your life that is keeping you from having the life that you want to live? I put together the syllabuses for my classes yesterday morning. For all three of the classes, I'm going to be teaching an acrylic painting class, going to be teaching a life coaching class, how to put a vision board together, put the syllabus together for writing a book, the who, the how, the when, blah, 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 when you were trying to develop characters. It's important that you know what tools you need in order to be successful. And if anybody is taking a class, you have to understand you can't go into the class, just like you can't go into the job site, and not have the proper tools so you can make money. Let me see if, like I said, I'm going to make sauce later. I've got, I don't know, 15 tomatoes, and I'm going to cut this up and do sauce. But let me see if I can pull this up. And I'm going to tell you supplies that are needed, which really isn't that expensive. Can I do this? Can I pull it up? Okay. Acrylic painting class. The class is going to be, there'll be 5 classes. They will start the end of January, and they will go into the end of February. The basic objective of it is understanding principles of acrylic painting, develop confidence for using your variety of paintbrushes, learn color theory, color mixing, practice perspective, visual perception, and building composition from sketch. That one painting that I worked on, the gal looking off into the sunset, I painted her all in, but now all my details have come with a watercolor pencil, which I love. That helps so much when you are painting and you are trying to define image. I need to put these down somewhere. Student grade acrylic paints. You have to have the proper tools in order to learn. If you're going to school, you have to have all the things that you need in order to help you learn. So student grade acrylic paints. Your basic burnt umber, burnt sienna, bright yellow, yellow ochre, black, white, phthalo green, green oxide, ultramarine blue, and bright red or fire red. That's just the basic primary of acrylic paints. And then I teach how to mix them all together. You need 3 canvases, 16 by 20. Hobby Lobby has 5 of them for less than $18. Brushes, you can get a variety pack of brushes. Okay, the vision board class. This is the simple one. The course objective: increase self-awareness through guided reflection. Explore how life experiences and relationships and personal choices influence your beliefs and your direction in which you want to go. Identify personal strengths and values and future goals. Develop greater clarity and purpose through journaling and creative expression. Create a personalized vision board that reflects both personal and a professional aspiration. Leave after you have finished this class. You'll be leaving with practical tools to continue making intentional decisions. Do you know how many people out there can't make choices because people have always made the choices for them? And then when they are left with a decision, they're so afraid to make a choice because they think, what if it's the wrong one? And then they start second guessing. Or in other terms, you've been at the restaurant and you have read that menu way too long and you cannot decide because you have overthought the process of what is on that menu. This class, it's 4 weeks, once a week. It will be on a Wednesday, and it will go from February 3rd to about the end of February. Okay, and then writing the book. I am more excited. I get excited when I'm teaching painting. I am more excited about this considering, I have a published book. So this one is 6 weeks. It's a 6-week class. I don't want to knock anything over here. Hang on. Get in there. 6 weeks. It will go from the beginning of February till the middle of March. It's like 12 to 2 o'clock. It's a 2-hour class. The course objective of taking this writing class, character development, writing a book, we all have a story. Maybe you want an autobiography. Maybe you have this creative endeavor in your head that you just need to get out. You need to write it, and you don't know how to develop your character. Every unforgettable story begins with a single question. Who is your character? Who is your main character? Who's the sub-character? Who are all the characters in your life that you could write about? The course objective: learn the foundational elements of character development. Understand the relationship between the who, what, where, when, and why in your story construction. Discover how characters' decisions create a ripple effect that drives a plot and conflict and resolution. That line alone, we will spend probably a good hour on that, because I will ask, reflect on your own life. Look at the characters in your life. What was that ripple effect? I think we talked about this last week in one video. That ripple effect. And how did it pivot your place? How did it add conflict? And was there any resolution that could fix what part of that plot was? We'll explore techniques for creating believable dialogue and what meaningful conflict looks like. If sometimes you don't have conflict, you can never get to the resolution. And what was the unexpected plot twist? I'll ask you to examine it in your own life. What was the butterfly effect? What was the unexpected plot twist from something that occurred a long time ago? Strengthen creative thinking through guided writing prompts and group discussion. You have to be very open in this class. You have to be able to talk about who you are as a person and how your character development comes off of the emotions that you are feeling, a lot of times with all the different characters in your life. This also will be about developing confidence and building a memorable character and organizing the framework for putting this whole story together, because I want you to write a compelling story. You have something that needs to be said. You have something that needs to be written, and you have something that needs to be read by others. I'm really excited about all of these classes. I wish they were starting in September, as I'm trying to veer out of the restaurant, and then I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to survive between now and then once I get into that and I do leave the restaurant, where is my big income coming from? I can develop a little bit more into content creating. I can talk more about vegetables and cooking. I can promote, other products. I can do that. I can talk about going through a drive-through and being cut off by old people. But that RV this morning, it sent me into a tizzy. Because that's where I should be right now. I should be riding on some beach, in some RV, camping somewhere where I can look out into the ocean and I can put this next puzzle piece together, implementing this next path as I am getting ready to approach retirement age. You can't just sit still. You can't just continue to lay on the couch and watch TV and wither away. You have to stay active. You have to put in a garden. You have to have hobbies. You have to have purpose, drive, and mission with the rest of your life. You just can't get old and wither away. So what is it? What is your plan? Somebody on the internet, of course, I got caught up in somebody's thread, and they said, we don't get to retire. We have looked at our finances, and we have seen what we have in front of us. And if I hear one more person young person say, we can't wait for the boomers all to be gone. We can't wait for all the boomers to retire. Do you really think that's going to solve your problems? Do you really believe with this generation or Gen X generation being gone that that's going to open up the world and make your life easy peasy, nice and breezy? I don't think so. Because if you do not have purpose and a mission and apply yourself in so many different avenues, learning how to adjust with every phase that comes along in your life, I got a rude awakening for you. Just because one generation, 2 generations is gone, it's not going to be easy street for you. These are a lot of things that I teach in my vision board class. Stop blaming a generation because you can't get ahead. Stop blaming a generation because life has changed and it has nothing to do with this generation. The rules have changed across the board. And if you do not learn how to overcome and adapt, and anybody in the military knows that, you make the best of the situation. You don't overthink it. You don't retreat. You just keep going forward and you work through the conflict till you come up with a resolve. Even if the resolve, in my case, would be an RV where I can travel and do all the things that I want to do in life. But I would love to hear from you. What is your conflict? What is the path that you were on? And if you are getting close to retirement, what does it look like for you? And are you willing to learn something else? Are you learning to put that menu down and stop overreading it and stop overthinking because you can't make a choice, you can't make a decision, and you've let too much time go by and you are not happy where you are? I want to hear from you. Reach out, kitrynmarie@gmail.com. If you want to learn more about me, go to my website, kitryn-marie.weebly.com. If you are interested in any of my classes, I would love for you to be able to take any of the classes, the acrylic painting class, how to put a vision board together based in life coaching, and maybe you have a book in mind that you want to write. There's all kinds of things left to do in this life. Stop blaming and being the victim because life so far has not worked out for you. When you do not make the correct choice or making no choice at all, you continue to live the same downward spiral that you've been doing for a very long time in a horrible routine. For today, for tomorrow, be happy, be blessed, be thankful for everything. Remember, fate turns on a dime, and it is up to you to decide what side of the coin you want to be on. Follow along for later on. I will try to maybe do a live when I'm doing the sauce, but I need to go outside and work in the backyard. Got a weed eat. The front yard looks beautiful. Looks like the botanical garden, because that's what I have been working on as I am working on myself. You can't expect to stand still and do nothing when life around you is happening. But y'all take care, and I'll see you real soon. Bye.